We are here.
We're here.
We're live.
We hope you're here too.
I think people are starting to come in.
Or we hope you.
We hope so. As you jump into the
Are
chat.
you kidding? Is that the way
say
you
hi.
titled it? You bribes us?
Well, I mean, I'm basing it
Really?
off of what we were told in the last hour's chat.
I don't think it's a bribe.
Hey guys, it's Dana and
I'm
Amy
just telling you.
from the Run Eat Drink podcast at runeatdrink.net. Here we are.
Robert.
Megan and Robert and
are
Maria.
Here.
I love it. And
Yay.
Josh is here.
Audio
guys
is
rock.
good. Audio is good.
Please tell me you can hear us.
So audio is good on
I forgot to actually check it. I forgot
on
to
YouTube.
Check.
On YouTube, it's good. James J. Williams woke up.
Hey, good morning, sleepyhead.
Good morning. Can you hear us okay? Is the audio good? On Facebook.
I hope so.
Meg.
Yeah, I think that we're good. I haven't done that again.
I didn't say you did anything.
Oh, Cigar City Highlight.
What?
We were actually just we actually this week we got to meet up with not one but two patrons. We as this show title talks about, we are having beer tonight provided to us by our very own Josh Osborne, patron of the show, and you're about to see the cat walk right in front of the camera, I think. No.
Well,
she laid down right under the
right
camera.
in front of the Roadcaster. Yeah. She loves the Roadcaster.
You can't see her. So
we're just hoping it's sweet, delicious audio, like from these mics and not from the camera.
I think we're good.
So, yeah.
So, can you hear me now? Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
But we got to meet up with Josh and hang out, and it was just such a great moment to be able to do that. And then later in the week, we actually got to meet up and hang out with another patron of the show, John Schroeder. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Great week.
Oh, and I'm just so excited for him and what he has coming in his life. And
it put you on your business account.
I'm sorry. What? What's happening?
It put for her for YouTube for Maria. Well, hey, we're glad you're here, regardless of what account you're on.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
We don't care.
We're glad that you guys could come and hang out with us for a little while. This is just another way for us to kill some time.
I told them in the coffee chat this morning that I just really, really needed good chat tonight.
Yeah. Amy's needing some positive vibes and positivity of just hanging out with friends. And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And we are gonna let's get this party started. We're kicking this off. Josh, when he came down to visit us, he brought us a stash of beers from Chicago breweries. And it was alluded to in last hour's chat that maybe he was trying to bribe us by our friend Jen, who's a diehard New Yorker. Because she's making fun of her brother Josh over there, and who hails from Chi-Town.
She gave us Disney inspired coffee. She sent it to us.
She did.
He delivered these.
He hand delivered these. So,
and we hope that she can. So
yeah, I'm just saying that would be great.
Yeah,
but this is
deliver her presents later.
Her presence, ENCE, not ENTS.
Yes, right, just exactly, because we don't care.
But this is from Pipeworks Brewing Company out of Chicago, and this is another one that
look at this artwork.
The artwork on these labels is incredible, and I think that makes it taste that much better. Katie's back in the chat.
Katie, welcome. And it's like the Run Eat Drink podcast shirts that are like 17%.
Yeah, absolutely. Make your beer taste at least 17% better, but it has a cool label on it. This one's called Lizard King versus the Cryo, CRYO. Amy, take it away.
Yes.
I'm going to show the can off.
Okay. And we'll get back to some of the questions in the chat here in a moment. But to give homage and pay proper respect to the beer that was delivered to us, Lizard King versus the Cryo is a cryo mosaic hopped pale ale at 6% ABV. And it says, brrr, the cryo has struck again. This Cold-hearted foe is not only the enemy of the unicorn, but also the lizard king. It looks really scary. Anyway, that they didn't write that in their description. The cool and collected Cryo and his army of cold to the bone soldiers have raised their icicle swords against the legendary Lizard King. Will the Lizard King win this battle, or will he be iced out from the win?
I see what they did there.
We took our Lizard King recipe, but brewed this batch with cryo mosaic hops instead of mosaic hops. Cryo hops are hops that have been cryogenically frozen immediately after harvest in a nitrogen rich environment. This process preserves the hop oils and aromatics, resulting in a pure and true to hop expression of the hop oils. This beer takes on an incredibly berry melon aroma with floral and rich earthy tones.
Interesting.
Heyo.
Interesting that you'd say that, because as I'm smelling the can, I actually am like, oh, that's kind of like melony, cucumbery kind of thing going on there.
Oh, I should smell it.
James is asking how your day was.
You know, it was good. It was good. It's a lot.
It's better now.
It's so much better now that you're all here and that I'm with you.
Yeah, and the cat right there.
We have a beer.
And the cat almost on top of the roadcaster.
Cat is just
Don't
so
encourage
fresh.
her. If
She's
she
so
starts
fresh.
walking, she's going to step on buttons.
She's so fresh.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, she'll trigger people.
Oh, I thought Instagram was a great start too. Oh my. Okay, again, higher carbonation on this one.
Both of them are well carbonated.
They are.
Yes.
Again, wasn't expecting that. And there is like an earthy kind of thing on the end.
On the aftertaste.
That's totally different than the ninjas versus unicorns in the last Instagram chat.
That was a little bit citrusy, and
this is drier.
Yeah.
Lighter body.
But still the carbonation is what they have in common.
Yeah. This reminds me a little bit of like if you are getting coffee. I'll bring this back to some coffee.
Oh yeah, please do.
If you have like a Ethiopia Sidamo, which is usually a sun-dried bean, and they'll actually, after they get done, processing the beans and they lay them out, they actually dry in the sun. The bean itself is actually wrinkled. It looks almost like a raisin, but it also has earthier notes. And I mean, some people will say it tastes a little bit like dirt. So this has kind of an earthy finish on it, which is actually not bad.
But I like this.
Yeah, this is Josh. Good calls, man. You were right on the money. 2 for 2. And James says, I feel like that should be an energy drink. Is that based on the description or on the label?
On the label and the size of the can.
And Katie just finished the Funky Buddha. All right. So does that mean you're cracking
for the win?
You're cracking another one and we're gonna do some crazy stuff and popping the popcorn? Is that what I'm hearing?
Don't. That got postponed. She said.
I know. I'm kidding.
And it's up to us to talk about 80s movies. Yes. So I don't think she's going to have a second round of that. All right. But Katie, you tell us. I'm not sure. No drinking and driving. No, everybody. We are all done for driving.
Robert California is the Lizard King. I am the Lizard King and I can do anything. I wonder if that's where they got the Pipeworks moniker. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. And
good question.
And Katie's now having Sam Adams Summer Ale.
One of our favorites.
It's actually for a quote unquote mass produced craft beer. That's actually a really good one. So good selection there. Great hot weather beer.
No, she's drinking Sam Adams Summer Ale. Yeah. We got it. We know. Katie, we
Yeah,
got it.
I speak I
We
speak fluent typo. Let me
we
tell you,
got it. We got it.
I'm right there.
Any kind of dictation errors, totally
I had a
got it.
vendor at work today have a critical dictation error. He was trying to do voice to text and like sent me like the same paragraph of poorly quoted text twice back to back.
Ooh,
And then he sent me a third follow up that was like, yeah, voice to text is complicated sometimes. Sorry about that. Poor guy. It's bad when that happens. I understand. So I couldn't give him grief.
oh, I mean, like that's why your signature says a
Oh,
typo by
I
dictation
I
or
actually,
whatever.
yeah. So what I do is I do so much of my job from my phone every day. I actually change the email signature from my phone. So anything I send from my phone says, oh, what's it say?
Typos by Siri,
Well,
did you
yeah,
say?
I incorporate the phrase typos by Siri. So
Yes.
I take no blame for typos. And here I actually have a funny story because
Oh,
I get a call one night here at
I want to
home,
hear this.
and the call is from one of our city councilmen, and I'm having to handle, at that time I was the
Public
spokesperson
information
for the police department here,
officer
and
person.
I spent about 7.5 years doing that. And the I'm talking to the city councilman. He's a great friend of the department, a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
We'd met him before,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I was watching something on TV, turned up real loud. I'm cooking. I'm walking back and forth. I hung up, and apparently Siri catches it and then catches some stretch of words from the television about being an idiot. And
I don't think you've told me this.
oh,
I don't think I
I'm
remember this,
pretty
or
sure I did,
well,
because I was like, well, this was a career ender, because I ended up accidentally texting him what an idiot he was. And he ends up screenshotting it, sending it back to me. And I'm like, oh my God. I told him, I'm like, I didn't say that. That's from Siri. Of course, he gets a great laugh out of it, sends it to the chief of police at the time, lets him know, haha, give Dana a hard time about this when he gets to
oh
work
my
tomorrow. I'm like, oh my gosh.
God. You're like, do I
I was
still have a
expecting
job?
I was expecting to be like the sergeant in charge of staplers. I mean, stuck in a
Uh,
closet somewhere counting paper clips.
I hope the revolution is just as good.
I must pull you away from
The
the Goose
Goose
Island
Island
vortex.
vortex.
Goose Island is really popular. They
Oh.
started out as a craft brewery, and then, you with the hardcore craft beer fanatics, they really, get very almost pedantic about their definition of what real craft beer is, and that it's a limit to
Mm.
how many barrels of beer they can produce in a year. And they get they get really, really detailed about that. And Goose Island has had tremendous success with their Bourbon County
Oh,
releases over the last few years. So they've been a lot of people saying they're not craft anymore. So
really?
yeah, same with Sam Adams.
But I love their summer ale,
the
Sam
craft
Adams summer
beer
ale, like Katie's
folks,
drinking right now. Oh my God.
I think that it's a little too elitist, and I don't think beer should be like that for me.
I
And
think you find what works for you.
you do, and you whatever. So Sam Adams spills more than some breweries make an entire year. They make a lot of really good stuff. So
Rob Nadow's
and
in the chat.
I just saw that. And where's the hot weather? I can tell you what, it's here. And if you want some, come get it. We'll send it back with you. But it's good to see you, Rob. I know
Well,
that
I know you don't want the
your
humidity.
pictures have been yet again amazing. I'm seeing mountains in the distance, going, man, I really want that. Amy and I were actually talking. We were enjoying water views on our drive back from Tampa. If you
Mm,
listen to this week's episode of the show, we ended up
yeah.
road tripping to Tampa,
Yeah.
and we get a lot of nice water views on our drive.
It is
Around
beautiful.
Tampa,
Beautiful.
the whole drive up the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I think that we're like, yeah, I think I wanna go see some mountains. Just saying. Oh yeah, I speak fluent typo, not fluid typo, fluent typo, like Taiwanese. Absolutely.
Oh,
You know what, Katie? Honestly, I don't know if it's a learning disability for me, but it's the exact same thing for me as well. I do better when I type than when I talk because I get
it just takes me
locked up
time.
sometimes.
I mean, I
100%.
took typing
And no, I wouldn't have known that about you.
in school, but
You took typing in school?
oh yeah, my parents made me take it at the
I
high school
I
level
wish I had.
so that I would be faster. But I am, I just like I type quickly, but I proofread as I go. So I'm better when I do it when I type it.
Mhm.
When I type it. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, the text to speech or speech to text has been such a godsend. I'll very often quote big long passages and then go back and edit. But yeah, old A&W commercial. I'm your man, Mr. Dumbass. The name's Dumas. Oh,
Oh yes,
I
we remember that.
love
I
that
remember
commercial.
that. I remember that.
That commercial is hysterical. Yeah. And Rob, yeah, it's hilarious now.
Hmm.
Thankfully, the gentleman who I'm talking about, God rest his soul, he just passed away a few months ago. He had a great sense of humor about it. He knew me from when he was a candidate, and I was on our Fraternal Order of Police
Yeah.
board, so he knew I wouldn't say anything like that. But he got his digs in and had some fun with me on that one. And so did the chief of police at the time too. He's like, "What are you trying to do to
Yeah.
me?"
Yeah. Dan Rams is in the chat from the Kid Pro Running Group.
Dan Rams, hey man, and we are so sorry we missed the meetup. We ended up with the impromptu travel to Tampa and couldn't do it. And then
Mhm.
I see that you're doing an impromptu early morning run tomorrow, which of course is going to be
Where?
up at Surfside
Oh.
at 7 a.m. And
Mm,
I've got to
no.
be heading or getting ready for work.
I can't because
I know you're going to be on
of
the
the
road by then.
commute. Yeah, because I'll be driving.
You're going to be on the road.
Have a great run.
And Josh, yeah, you know what, Josh? Yeah, we kind of do the same thing. There's certain things we keep as staples around,
Oh yeah.
and then we experiment for the show.
Yeah.
So, we get it. And Robert, yeah, Tennessee. I mean, it's far enough north where it gets pretty darn chilly and gets a good bit of snow in the wintertime, but it also
Summer.
gets that southern summer.
You get both ends of
Yeah.
the
You're
spectrum.
literally right there on the line.
Yeah. We just have one season with
And
it.
I was really glad to see that that the event went off
Yeah.
really well. And actually, I was going to ask the we haven't been to the Oyster Bar where you guys
Yes.
were hanging out. Is that a
Tell
place that
us.
we need to feature on the show? I mean, would you say it's that good featured on the show?
Yeah. I mean, I just introduced you to trying oysters in all the ways that they can be cooked.
I
I
actually,
just
yeah,
just did. And we've been
over.
married for how long?
Well, that was my first raw oyster ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I've always been a fan of oysters. When we did the episode on the Oxbow restaurant over in Fort Myers.
We haven't done an episode.
Oh, we're doing an episode. Okay, well we've got an episode coming up where we're going to feature a local restaurant that we did not just name right now, and I may or may not be trying raw oysters.
We were doing research.
Yeah, right. Anyway, um, yeah, I totally didn't give away an episode, but anyway,
That's all right.
I've
Win.
never had raw oysters. Amy got me to try them,
Mhm.
and I was surprised at how much I actually enjoyed. Uh, Josh, I've seen your DMs, Dana. You're very upfront with your typos. This is
That's
true.
true.
I make you know what, when I think that when, especially if you're in like direct messaging and text, you got to be more forgiving about it, because there's just sometimes where that's all about speed and messaging as you're available or as you're able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Popping the popcorn. We'll have 80s night next week sometime.
I love it.
Sweet. Did you settle on a movie, Katie?
I would have to dig out well, it's 80s night, so I think they can run the gamut,
Why now?
right? But I really I want to have like the big hair. I want to have
Oh, I've got
sweater,
pictures
like
of you with the big hair.
leg warmers.
Big
Want
hair.
those
Ain't
leg warmers,
was it
sweaters.
Aquanet?
Yes,
It was. I
yes.
don't even think they make Aquanet anymore.
I don't know if they do or not, but I
They
had it as a
should.
kid. Yeah, totally,
Oh,
totally.
Dan, thank you. I that was going to be so much fun, and what a great little area down there.
Hmm.
We've done runs down in that area. If you're going to do a run down there too. Oh, what are the staples we keep around? Well, we actually
Oh,
keep Moosehead as probably the most frequent staple here in the house.
what
Moosehead
Moosehead?
Lager,
Yes, that's true.
because that's one that we like as a post-race recovery beer.
Yep.
It's light, crisp, refreshing, great flavor, and it has a pretty low ABV. And it's something
Yeah.
that goes back to one of our first nighttime Disney half marathons, and we would go to Canada at the Wine and Dine half marathon when they did it at night.
It's tradition.
Um, it is one of our absolute favorites.
And you
So
don't monkey with tradition.
you don't.
That's all I'm saying. I like KBB when we can have it.
Kentucky
Yeah.
Bourbon Barrel Ale is another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that they carry that one at Publix, it tends to find its way to the house a little more frequently. That is true.
I might get it a lot.
And then from local breweries, we tend to do beers from Fort Myers Brewing. So Fort Myers Light tends to be a pretty popular one that we'll
Yeah.
keep, again, lighter beers. And I also am a fan of the Rock and Reef Red Ale from Coastal Days Brewing.
Oh, it's
But that one
so
we
good.
have to go get a growler of that.
Yeah, they don't can it.
No.
I wish they would.
And Josh says, as long as I don't hit send, I'm safe. That's
Ah,
what he's doing.
yeah,
He's doing
yeah.
text to, or talk to text.
Yeah. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you're like, it's, you know.
Okay, Dan, we will check it out because that's too close to our house not to check
Yeah.
out. We'd be crazy not to.
Mhm.
So thank you for that.
Oh my
It got to
goodness.
70 degrees today.
Whoa.
Well, you know, in Alaska, we learned that that's black flag conditions on a race course.
Okay.
When we ran the Alaska,
Bef-
the race in Alaska before COVID, we were up there for the Alaska Run Fest, and they had the black flag up, and they were hardcore pushing. Do not try for a PR. We don't want anybody falling out from heat exhaustion. And I'm like, oh my God, did we bring the hot weather with us? What is going on? It's going to get up to 70 degrees tomorrow.
You love that story.
And I do, because it's so funny, because they were so
They were like, "You have
genuinely
got to be safe."
concerned. You know, it's
But
like,
that's true. And Jeff Galloway will tell you
If
for
you're-
every degree above, what, 60 degrees?
every 5 degrees above.
Every 5 degrees above 60,
60,
you got to
add 30
adjust your
seconds.
pace.
Yeah. And he said the running members like the restaurant, so we've got to check it out.
I wonder what we should eat there.
Yeah, Josh. Okay, I used to say the same thing. I'm right there with you. I said the closest thing I will do is smoked oysters,
Which are
and
excellent.
smoked oysters are amazing. And in fact, this past weekend we had some char grilled oysters.
Oh, we did. They were great.
And look, I'm not going to give it away. It's going to be coming up on a later episode,
you know,
because
okay.
I
It's your
leak like a
friend.
sieve.
We talked.
Hey, Trip Billy.
We talked about that already.
Oh, thank you for coming and hanging out. I don't know what we did a good job
Yeah.
on, but thank you. I'll take it.
Thank you, and thanks for coming in.
I don't look compliments, in the mouth, or gift horse in the mouth. I'll take it.
Exactly.
I was giving you,
Ah!
yeah. Okay. Well, here's the problem with that. When I was giving you the meetup,
We have.
I actually I know they're addressed by heart. They're old addressed by heart. And I
Before they moved.
started to give you that one. And that's how that ended up happening.
Yes.
And then they literally, we're talking about Nice Guys Pizza here in Cape Coral. They moved like 3 doors down.
Oh,
Like they literally walked all of their equipment and food and decorations and everything from one building to the next, and they moved in a period of about a week total, but they did the final move like
Crazy.
overnight
It's crazy.
and
But
were up and running. They didn't lose any time.
but for 7 years, that's the address we knew.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, in
Uh,
our defense.
Oh, I am so looking forward to this, Katie. Let me tell you, top fives. I can do a top five. Top five movies I didn't like.
Mm.
Oh, I'm there. There were some bad ones.
Are you gonna say? You're
I'm
not gonna say.
I am, because there was some really interesting news this
Okay.
week. This is
I enjoy the news
we're just
that you're
we're
talking
just,
about. I'm sorry, I'm fidgety.
We're just. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I think I do.
So we found out. Everybody's been very. It's been a controversial discussion about what the heck Warner Brothers is doing with Superman. Is Henry Cavill coming back? Is he not? Are they going to branch out and do like a story of there is an alternate universe storyline in the DC universe where Superman is a young black man, and they're looking at it possibly exploring that. So people are really ticked off because they want to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman. Well, then Henry Cavill is a very, very active guy on social media. And he tweeted out or posted on Instagram the fact that he's exploring his Scottish heritage. Because if you've never heard the guy talk in an interview, I mean, he sounds as American as apple pie in Man of Steel and Justice League and all that. He is as British as they come. He sounds much more like he did when he was on the Tudors than he does in Man of Steel.
I loved him on the Tudors.
But he has Scottish heritage, and he is exploring that because he is going to be cast as Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod in the reboot of The Highlander.
There can be only one.
And I am super, super excited about that.
There can be only one.
So yeah. But that's one of my favorites from the 80s. One of my least favorites is the second the sequel, Highlander 2, when they were trying to compete with science fiction releases right around that time. I believe the movie at the time that was coming out was Blade Runner. And they decided on at the very last minute to turn the Highlanders into aliens from the planet Zeist.
No.
Awful.
No.
Awful.
No.
And he says they have good Northeastern clam chowder. Okay, when you say New England clam chowder.
New England.
I was going to say, please tell me you mean New England and not New York.
Yes.
Or Manhattan style.
No.
Because Manhattan clam chowder doesn't have a place on my table. I'm just saying. Well, Trip Billy is just on it with the compliments tonight. Thank you. You're very positive. I don't know what we did, but thank you. My brain has the shell on
Trip Billy is saying good job, Josh, too.
Mr. Blutowski, 0.0. Nice Guys is phenomenal and placed in the atmosphere spectacular. Yeah, and Josh got to have some of the fresh. He was eating some of their fresh items that they do there. Well, actually, the secret there is they do almost everything fresh. Literally, the only thing that they had that was like pre-frozen. Greg used to keep chicken fingers there that were from his childhood and had them shipped down. And he doesn't even carry them anymore. And yeah, they did move to the old Blue Agave restaurant.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, the artwork is for sale. And actually, we're friends with one of the artists there. That's our friend Brian Hicks. And
yeah, they have a mixture of his art and then some others.
And he actually does a mural, or has a mural over in another brewery, or in a brewery over in Fort Myers, that is an homage to all 80s sci-fi.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Oh, here we go. Katie's dropping some 80s knowledge on us here. Top 5 movies, Pretty in Pink. That's a fun one. Breakfast Club, you could argue is actually probably, I think Breakfast Club might be John Hughes's best non-comedy. And Ferris Bueller's Day Off is his best comedy. And if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to pick Ferris Bueller.
I know. But I would pick the Breakfast Club.
Land Before Time and Labyrinth.
Labyrinth? I love
Labyrinth. Yeah. Okay. Talk about typos. You should hear some of the directions I get from the places I go. I can
Ah!
okay, for you guys that drive professionally, I don't know how you do it because most people can't give directions very well. The majority of people don't do well with cardinal directions, northeast,
I
southwest,
can't do that. No, no,
and
no, 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 no.
what is a significant landmark to some may not be to others. Oh, Superman Red Sun would be amazing, but I don't know if Warner needs to get whoever's in charge of their animated movies in charge of their live action stuff. Their animated stuff has been incredible. Their live action has been really hit or miss. I liked Man of Steel a lot, but I think Henry Cavill had a lot to do with that.
Yes, I agree.
Much more so than Amy Adams personally.
Yes.
And
That's true.
yeah, I agree with that. That would be incredible. Oh, Superman 3 is your least favorite 80s movie? Richard Pryor in a Superman movie.
I love Richard Pryor.
Yeah. He was way better in Brewster's Millions at at that same time.
Oh, I love that.
And I loved Brewster's Millions. Oh my gosh, hold on.
There's a lot. Rob Nato's right. There's a lot.
There is a lot. And Katie's never seen Highlander. Okay. So here's the secret to Highlander.
You have to make it through the whole movie.
You've got, well, number one, Highlander, the
original.
And I'm only talking about Highlander 1.
Yes.
You cannot watch any of the sequels. I thought Highlander 2 was the worst, and it was.
Just don't watch it first.
So Highlander 3, they tried to kind of reset. So they ignore Highlander 2 altogether.
I get that.
And it's awful. And then they did another one, and it was even worse. So it's only watch the first movie. It's phenomenal. Queen does the entire soundtrack.
Well, who doesn't love that?
And most of that soundtrack is available in their album It's a Kind of Magic. But it was an interesting casting choice that they chose. Christopher Lambert being a French actor trying to play a Scotsman who didn't speak English at the time of, or much English at the time of the filming.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of ignore him. But the movie is actually really good. The story elements are great. I love the fact that Clancy Brown really got the role that kickstarted his career as the main villain, the Kurgan. And yeah, you cannot go wrong. Now in the 90s, what they ended up doing was they created a TV series called Highlander, and it was not a sequel. It was kind of a concurrent storyline. So Connor McLeod from the original movie meets Duncan McLeod, his cousin, who is the main character in Highlander the series. They did a great job with it, and it's surprisingly good. So I'm very curious. You've never seen the Highlander movies, and I realize this, and not seeing Back to the Future trilogy makes me uncultured swine.
Back to the Future, you've got to see.
The Back to the Future trilogy, surprisingly, is strong from beginning to end.
Gotta see it.
That's a trilogy that never should have had no business being as good as it was for all three movies.
I love Back to the Future.
And it's also, Amy hates the sci-fi trope of time travel. Hates it.
I do.
So you can imagine that a movie that's main premise is time travel might not be her first go-to.
I love that movie trilogy.
But they do it so well. They do it so
well. I do love it. Do love it.
And much. Josh, New England clam chowder is the creamy. The red is not really clam chowder. It's tomato soup with clams in it. It's not good. I'm just saying.
No.
But yeah, Sebastian, don't watch all the Highlander movies. Watch just the first one. It is absolutely worth your time, and it has one of the best soundtracks in movie history because Queen is amazing. Freddie Mercury is the greatest male rock vocalist.
Forever.
Exactly.
I can't do it.
And there is a cut from that soundtrack you can't get anywhere. and it's Queen singing Sinatra's New York, New York, and it's fantastic.
It's not even on YouTube.
It's well, you
Probably
can't
find
get it
You probably
separated.
find it.
No,
I
you
don't know.
can't find it separated from
Oh.
from the movie audio. We're just glad you could come, Sebastian. That's all that matters. We're glad you're
Yeah,
here.
welcome. Seriously.
Yeah, manja, man.
I drove an hour home. You drive a lot. I drove an hour to get home from work.
Wait, what? Steak tips and rice?
I
Sign me up.
that. Yes.
Sign me
All the yes.
Now, okay, now Rob's dropping Karate Kid. I love
Karate Kid.
I loved Karate Kid,
Yes.
and I love the sequel.
Mhm.
And I think that the sequel actually had the most iconic song from the soundtrack.
Oh, I mean,
Peter Cetera.
Glory of Love. Come on.
Come on. Couldn't go wrong with that. And that's why we are absolute fanatics for Cobra Kai.
I love Cobra Kai.
They have done such a good job
Love it.
of treating the original source material with respect and carrying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had to eat all of it because our microwave was broken. Oh, okay. Oh, here we go.
Challenge.
He did not like Teen Wolf and Dune. Okay. Teen Wolf was different.
I like Teen Wolf.
I liked it. Dune I liked Dune, but I read Frank Herbert's novel. I loved the book.
Okay.
Now, that is a David Lynch movie. So that's why it's so freaking weird. So you cannot watch that movie. That is one of those movies where if you are the type of person that likes to talk and half pay attention,
it's not gonna happen for you.
You're gonna hate it because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you watch it with all your attention and you haven't read the books. So, and then on top of that, you got the artsiness of David Lynch. So, yes. And Sebastian, I did say Queen. Because they do the entire soundtrack to Highlander.
I love that. I just do.
Oh, Josh is dropping his top 5 here. Here we go. Top Gun.
Oh.
Outstanding.
Oh.
Full Metal Jacket. Also, I got no problem with that one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I love that movie.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin back when he was still funny.
So good.
And John Candy, who never stopped being funny.
It's always funny to me.
Never Ending Story.
I love that.
I might have to replace that with Princess Bride.
Well,
in this list.
Okay.
Because Roadhouse is pretty awesome.
Yes.
I quote Roadhouse. I cannot tell you how many times I have used Roadhouse, a clip from Roadhouse in training for law enforcement. And you could probably guess exactly what clip I'm talking about.
I'm sure he can.
Be nice until it's time not to be nice. Sebastian, you got to watch Back to the Future. I did not like the third one. The third one is the weakest of the 3.
You have to watch it.
But I think they hold up.
You really do.
I think they do.
They
hold up.
Oh.
Josh, that is a great list, actually. Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet. I haven't seen it yet. That looks really interesting to me, though.
We should watch it.
Yeah. It looks like kind of he took Inception, but
on our next
applied it to time travel.
Whenever that is.
Who doesn't love Queen?
I know, right?
I'm just saying. Greatest.
Danny loves Queen.
Greatest male rock vocalist of all time. Period.
Natasha loves Queen.
Netflix. Hold on. I'm not sure who voiced him, but Netflix's Big Mouth has a Freddie Mercury character that sounds spot on. Really? Okay. Well, now they did the recent biopic, and it was I forget who the actor was, but he so meticulously studied the exact movements and lip syncs. They played him side by side with Freddie Mercury, and it was pretty uncanny what he was able to do to reproduce his performances.
Bohemian Rhapsody was the name.
Bohemian Rhapsody, that was
the
Oh, Sebastian, if you liked the uh, Karate Kid movies, you're gonna love Cobra Kai. It is so good. Yeah, Karate Kid was fantastic. The attempted
Rami
reboot.
Malek.
Yeah, Rami Malek. Yeah, he did an amazing job.
Fantastic.
I love it when we go down. I love it when we go down rabbit holes. I bought all the Dune books on Audible, but they're so long I haven't started. That is a lot of listening.
I know.
Frank Herbert. I mean, he created a really rich and pretty incredible world. They've tried doing reboots. I think for Sci-Fi Channel, there is a movie reboot coming, which looks like it's going to be pretty incredible. And I think it's going to be a little less art house and a little more hardcore sci-fi. So I think that'll be worth checking out. I've seen some of the stills that they've released from it yet.
Yeah.
Katie, if you liked Karate Kid, you're gonna love Cobra Kai.
And you better see Back to the Future ASAP.
I'm with you, Trip.
Yeah. For sure.
Dad's a huge sci-fi novel guy and loves Dune. Yeah, I mean it's one of the classics. If you're gonna read, Frank Herbert, if you're gonna read, oh gosh, I'm blanking. Robert Heinlein, if you're Starship Troopers, the movie's amazing, but it's totally different than the book. It's amazing for a different reason. Fantastic. Yeah, Katie, Dune's a book, and it's an investment in time, but it's a good story. It's really, really good. And yeah, I'm with you on John Candy. John Candy rocked.
So good.
And
I loved him in Uncle Buck.
Oh yeah. That might be my favorite of his.
It might be in the 90s though. I don't know when that was made.
They say we're going the wrong way. They're drunk. How do they know we're going?
What? We're going the wrong way? What?
Quotes. Steve Martin helped me pass French class. I'll tell you what, Amy taught some Steve Martin.
I did.
In English, when she was an English teacher.
Well,
share it.
When I taught so I was allowed to create an honors elective called literature and film. And we compared and contrasted classic literature with modern day interpretations of film interpretations of that classic literary work. And we did,
for example,
Cyrano de Bergerac, and then we watched Roxanne.
And that, very much like 10 Things I Hate About You,
Taming the Shrew, Katie,
is darn near a shot for shot, character for character recreation.
It was so great.
And that is, I think,
so great.
Personally, I think that's Steve Martin's best. I think it's better than Parenthood.
The scene in the bar where he makes up the jokes.
Oh,
it's just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so and just it was really good, really good. I love it.
Tenet was like Inception. Oh, look who we have here from
Yay!
This Diz Life.
Mark Valentine, welcome to the chat.
What is going on, sir? And he agrees. Cobra Kai is fun.
Love Cobra Kai.
It's not deep, but they do a great job at continuing the story.
It doesn't have to be deep,
Thank you. Dune is wonderful. Mm-hmm. Now, again, you've got to be okay with David Lynch. If you didn't like Twin Peaks, and there's a deep cut for you.
Beer right here.
Yeah, I topped mine off. You can top yours off with your beer.
No,
look at
that.
Oh, you did it already.
Yes, I'm way ahead.
Okay. But yeah, if you didn't like Twin Peaks and his kind of interpretation on things, you may not like his version of Dune. But yeah, I was a big fan. But I was a giant sci-fi nerd as a kid too. So
what?
Finally made it around the world at Epcot.
Started in Canada.
Good job, Mark. All right, man.
Yes.
Did you have a moose head in Canada,
or a Le Fin du Monde?
Or just start with a Le Fin du Monde?
God, if you start with a Le Fin du Monde, then you're gone. But
Sebastian says dad always says read Starship Trooper.
I love that so
If you read
much.
that book and that's kind of what you're expecting when you watch that movie, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But if you like Paul Verhoeven as a director and his ability to do some social commentary and satire, there's actually a great review from one of our favorite YouTubers, the Critical Drinker.
Oh, I love him.
And
Yes.
he breaks down an analysis of the 1996 Starship Troopers movie,
Mhm.
and actually ends up really liking it.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that somewhere in this list of best 80s movies, I might have to include Transformers the movie.
I know.
And
I know.
Transformers the movie,
I know.
it's animated. It's one of those where there's a lot of critique you can heap on it. The original reason for the movie was that Hasbro had a plan to kill off the entire first generation of Transformers toys
That
so they
did
could
not
introduce all new toys. That was the
work.
goal.
That did not work.
And what they didn't realize was they actually did a pretty good job at telling a story. And they ended up killing off Optimus Prime. Spoiler alert for a 35-year-old movie, which is just about to get its 35-year release on Blu-ray in 4K. They got so much hate mail from parents who were pissed that they ended up having to bring Optimus Prime back because kids were freaking traumatized about that.
Oh, LA Stories 1991.
Yeah. Okay. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Is that technically an 80s movie, or did that not hit like 1990, 91 also? You might
1988.
88. Sorry. That is an 80s movie. I was wrong.
Yeah.
My memory is cloudy. How did it go? Drinking around the world, Mark? Yes.
Have you recovered?
Inquiring minds want to know.
He probably did it very smartly.
Are you messaging us from, a bench in...
Do you need us? We can come there. I can tell them at work it's an emergency and I need to go.
Oh, here we go. Steve Martin was in Roxanne, which is originally a French film. We watched the French version. Cyrano de Bergerac. Exactly.
I did in literature and film class. Yes.
That's exactly
it. Yes.
And it is so close to the original.
Yes.
Elective Call. History through media. Nice. Now, see, I would have enjoyed that.
Yes.
Because
we're together.
When Amy was doing that class, she was like, what would you do? And she would give me, bounce some of them off of me that she was thinking about. And I mean, she picked great movies and great, things
for
to compare and
literature's sake, not for history's sake. That's an excellent idea.
No, but the history one would be really cool.
I would be all over that as a kid. I would take that in a heartbeat. Yeah, totally. I mean, I was like, Tammy, the true 10 things I hate about you, the time machine, and all of the devices for time travel.
Didn't you use
Back to the Future
for that one?
Totally did.
And then around that same time, that's when the most recent version of H.G. Wells' Time Machine came out.
I took the whole class to the theater.
Yeah. So, and then the story of King Arthur, the once and future king, with Star Wars, the original episode 4.
Yes. Frankenstein with Young Frankenstein.
Okay, Frankenstein with Young Frankenstein was just a cheap excuse to expose kids to some culture and get them a little Mel Brooks, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care. I
don't care.
Katie drank around the world for her 21st birthday.
War of the Worlds and Independence Day.
That's actually a really good comparison there.
Yeah.
That's actually a really,
it was great,
really good one.
Absolutely great. So,
and Sebastian seems to agree with me on Transformers. Yeah, there's another YouTuber who we really enjoy a lot. He his Bob Chipman, Movie Bob.
Oh, YouTuber, yeah.
Yeah, he does a series of Was It Really That Bad?
Oh yeah.
where he goes after or analyzes bad movies, but he does every now and then he does one that he kind of flips the script a little bit on that formula and does a series or a segment called Was it really that good? And he spends 90 minutes analyzing Transformers the movie. And at the end of it, he says, yeah, in spite of the fact that this was a project born out of absolute 80s consumerism, just, didn't give a damn about
Give the audience what it wants.
No, it wasn't even that. It was
the parents. Like,
yeah, but
yes.
but it ended up, in spite of itself, being a really good movie. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Oh, Katie, it's a totally different animal. If you haven't seen the new, if you haven't seen the classic 80s Generation 1 stuff, you should. But Transformers, the movie, yeah.
The touch.
And also, it does have two phenomenal songs from there that end up in my running mixes all the time. And it's Stan Bush doing a song called The Touch and another song called Dare. And they're fantastic.
But also Queen, right? No. Did they do anything?
I don't think
maybe
Queen's.
not.
I don't think there's any Queen in that one, if I recall. No.
Dang it. Okay. All right.
She started the Transformers series he started Transformers series on Netflix. The War for Cybertron stuff is actually very good. It's a little bit dark. It's more adult than the original stuff, but it's very good. We powered through and made it to be our guest that night like a boss.
Yeah, man. Well done.
Well done, you.
Yes.
Oh, Katie watched He-Man for the first time the other day. Please tell me it was the animated one and not the live action movie with Dolph Lundgren. The again, 80s cartoons.
Keep going with the comments. Keep going.
80s cartoons. The Masters of the Universe stuff was phenomenal. They are rebooting that. Kevin Smith is helming that for Netflix.
I'm excited
and
about
the
that.
animation stills they released look
so excited about that.
Incredible.
I'm so excited about
Abby Normal.
Yes, Abby Normal.
I love that movie.
See, it was a great time in the classroom. Such a great time.
You know what, Josh? I mean, yeah, that is certainly a fair critique you can level at the modern stuff, but this was literally they talked about this by interviewing some people who were affiliated with the movie when they were shooting or making the Transformers movie in the 80s. Hasbro had a specific thing in mind, which was to end the Generation 1 toy line and reintroduce the Gen 2 stuff.
Marketing.
And again, they ended up backing into a cult classic. And I own it on Blu-ray. I'm going to buy the 4K version.
Of course.
Actually, I may not have to. No. I just realized I may not have to. I bought the digital version and we get the automatic 4K upgrade.
We're going to have all the things.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yay!
Love it.
Oh, Rob.
Love
it. I love it so much. Oh. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, somebody says. Weird Al Yankovic.
Dare to Be Stupid. I actually believe that ends up making if I'm not mistaken, that's actually in the soundtrack. I want to say that's in the Transformers soundtrack. Yeah, I don't actually count the Michael Bay movies, Sebastian, although I actually teared up a little bit in the first Transformers movie during my first viewing of it when I heard Peter Cullen's voice come out of that version of Optimus Prime. I actually cried a little bit, and I'm not even lying about that. I love that.
He wouldn't.
Now, that said, I was not a fan of the Bay. How many movies did they do?
Many.
3 too many. The most recent live action they did, Bumblebee.
That was really good.
Was a complete
really good
vindication. They fixed
it.
And I want them to do the next in that series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the junkyard battles with the Junkticons. Yes. I was like, yeah. So yeah, Weird Al did make the list. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, absolutely. Although I I believe it was.
What a
Um,
success for Domino's Pizza.
it really was. But yeah, the first movie had some really good stuff in the soundtrack
Mhm.
that I actually owned the soundtrack to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The second one had Vanilla Ice. So
Vanilla Ice is not necessarily a bad thing.
that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but that particular song that was not his best work.
Okay.
I mean, I think he got a good paycheck for it.
Okay.
It was animated He-Man. Yeah. Okay, good. Good,
Good,
good.
Katie.
Yeah, I was actually subjecting Amy to some of that the other day too. They ended up doing the Beast Wars, but that ended up being like 3 or 4 generations of Transformers cartoons. I stopped honestly, I stopped watching the Transformers cartoons when I think when I hit college because I had no time for any of that. Um, so you're not wrong. Weird Al song, yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
And I watched the Bumblebee movie for the cute guy. I'll tell you what,
Well,
you know what? There's a little something for everybody in there, and the Bumblebee
I
movie
think it was great.
they did a good job
It
with
was
it,
really good.
and I actually like the fact that I got to see Bumblebee be a Volkswagen Beetle, which is what the toy was, which is what it was supposed to be. Bam,
Yeah.
go ninja, go! Yeah, that's the soundtrack I'm talking about.
Oh,
And Sebastian, yeah,
Katie.
Beast Wars is really good. Yeah, I need to watch it, and I know it's on Netflix, so
I just have
I
to
have
say
homework, and
thank you to Katie
I got to
for
catch up.
opening this topic for us.
I know this is kind of we've gone down some rabbit holes
I
here,
know.
but this is fine with me.
I love
We'll
it.
geek out about movies.
I love it. I love it.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
We've I think that movies were great in the 80s. There was a bit of a peak into the early 90s, and then
Mhm.
things kind of took a turn.
Well, we have our favorites and cult classics.
Mm.
So,
And Katie, okay. Um, Katie watched Army of Darkness.
she did.
Katie
You
watched Army of
did.
Darkness, and I was so excited because I was afraid. I'm gonna recommend this movie to Katie, and she's gonna hate it, and then
I had to watch
I'm
it to
gonna
be
not be able to
admitted
talk to
into
her.
this marriage.
She did. This was legit. Like I'm gonna test you, and we're going to watch this movie. So Amy had to watch both Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2.
This is my boomstick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was one rabbit hole after another, and it flowed. Let's see.
I mean,
Let's-
I love it. I love it.
Now, Katie, if you are wanting to continue your enjoyment of the um, thespianic stylings of what's his name who played Ash, oh, I can see him playing his day. What's his name? Oh my gosh.
Just
Okay, Evil Dead. Don't watch the first one because they had about a $5 budget.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Thank you. Gosh, I couldn't believe I couldn't think of his name. Don't watch the first one. Watch the second one. Skip straight to Evil Dead 2 because that is the exact same movie with a $10 budget and a little bit of plot revision, and it's a much better film. And then that leads right into Army of Darkness. And then if you want to continue on, they did a Showtime series or Star series, Ash versus Evil Dead, and I believe there's 3 seasons of that, and it's
There you
very
go.
very good.
Yeah.
And the best part of that is that it has Xena Warrior Princess herself in the show.
I love her.
I'll watch her any day of the week because she's
Wow.
phenomenal in the Spartacus
Oh my
series.
gosh, she was amazing. Lucy Lawless.
Lucy
Oh,
Lawless
so good.
is incredible, and I loved her in
Amazing.
the 90s as Xena. I loved Kevin Sorbo's Hercules, and of course you ended up with Bruce Campbell on both of those series as well. And Haley Steinfeld from Bumblebee is the new Hawkeye. Yeah, she's playing his daughter, and I guess she's going to take up the mantle.
Great.
So I'm curious how that's going to go.
Like, run it.
Katie, Yeah,
Spartacus.
it is not, it's a horror comedy. So it is a little darker than Army of Darkness, but I promise you, you're not going to have nightmares. I don't think
No,
over or over Evil Dead 2.
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, man. Lucy Lawless.
She's fantastic.
If you have not, okay, number one, if you've got little kids, they should not be watching
No,
any of the Spartacus
don't.
series.
Just no.
But if you're wanting to make little children, you might want to watch it, because it is a very not safe for work, very adult themed TV show. They have no problem with full frontal nudity.
I really needed this tonight. I mean,
for both men and women, but
Right.
it is the story of the slave Spartacus, who becomes a Roman gladiator and leads a
Oh my God.
slave rebellion in the
Oh my
Roman
God.
Empire.
Oh my God.
But they are very stylized, and what I love about it, and there's a tie into this, it's not just a random discussion. There's a tie into this because Sam Raimi, who directs Army of Darkness and Evil Dead, is also a producer on Spartacus.
I mean,
the
shut up.
the entire series.
It's just good. It's just good.
Yeah, Josh, it's not as scary as you think now looking back on it, but back then when you were younger, you're like, oh, some of that stuff was terrible. Like just the stuff of nightmares.
Yes.
Yeah, Xena and Hercules, really fun stuff.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
Andy Whitfield passed away and they had to recast him.
Yes.
You know, when you watch the first series and you realize that Andy at that time was fighting
Cancer.
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at that time, and you look at him and you realize that guy is the picture of like male body perfection. He is just cut, muscular, looks like he's chiseled out of stone.
And I loved the fact that they had a prequel to give him some time.
They never intended to do the prequel. That was what, that's what I'm saying. What Amy's saying is they did that only to help him.
And
I love that about that production company.
So do I. But I wish he had. But at the same time, I think the actor that took up the mantle was so respectful.
Oh, he really was. They did a behind the scenes and he was so moved and wanting to honor him in that role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the casting of every character in there. The woman that played Alithia, you're like, God, she's such a bitch.
Shit, what are you doing?
What?
Okay. Oh well, it's a
she was terrible.
Okay.
I mean, she was great, but she was terrible.
Yeah.
Lucy Lawless,
she was great.
She was awful, and then amazing, and then really awful.
Lucy Lawless's husband.
Yeah,
in the show,
and then Amy's like, I really like Gannicus.
Well, and we wouldn't have had him.
No,
without the prequel. We wouldn't have as much of him in the show. So
I did see Psycho. Yeah, Psycho is pretty incredible, but I'm a Hitchcock fan. And Psycho is not gory by any stretch, and just keep in mind that the blood you might see in that is nothing but chocolate syrup. So it's Game of Thrones. No, it's
no.
It's
no.
It's much more stylized.
Spartacus?
Spartacus
totally
visually
better, 100%.
Visually, it reminds me a lot of the 300.
Yes,
they borrowed a lot of elements, the slow motion, the animated blood and gore, that type of thing. But they are way more in your face with violence and sex than Game of Thrones ever was.
Yeah.
So you just got to be okay with that.
It's so good though.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Second season was amazing. The Exorcist, yes, 100% was better than Rosemary's Baby, without a doubt.
100%.
You've never seen Spartacus?
Oh, Katie, it's great.
Time to put that in your queue, my friend.
Yeah,
you will love it. You will love it.
Oh, good night, Mark.
Oh, Mark, you quitter.
Well, we gotta hang it up soon too. So
70s horror like The Exorcist, yes. I don't remember if it's in the 79 or 80. The movie that traumatized me as a child was Salem's Lot.
really,
Oh God, horrible.
poltergeist for me.
Poltergeist was 80s. I mean, I loved Craig
Yeah,
T. Nelson in that.
yeah,
And Step Into the Light, Carol Ann.
I know. Mhm.
This house is clean. I say that every now and then when Amy cleans the house. Oh, love you. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, goodness. I've seen the Saw movies, Friday the 13th, Freddy and the Conjuring.
No
I
conjuring or
loved the Freddy
yeah.
Krueger movies. I was a huge fan of what's his name? Robert Englund, who played him. He also played the timid vegetarian alien from the TV series V.
Oh yeah.
That was Robert Englund. The timid, helpful, nice guy. Yeah, Robert Englund. And Robert
Yeah.
Englund was iconic as Freddy Krueger. And they used to do a late night syndicated TV
Oh, I
series
loved that.
that was Nightmare on Elm Street. And they
Mhm.
also did one called Friday the 13th that had nothing to do with the Jason storyline. It had to do with it was almost like a Needful Things type storyline where these
Twilight
two
Zone.
people,
Yeah.
these two people were trying to get back these cursed items that were
Yes.
sold from an old
Oh, yeah,
store.
yeah.
It was
I love
great
that.
late night TV.
Loved it.
They're in your face with a lot of dudes' dongs.
That's true.
That is true. Again,
Spartacus.
as Spartacus,
That's on Spartacus.
it's got something for
So
everybody.
you have to
Just saying.
Censor.
You got to be
Depending on
mindful
your
of who's in the
audience.
room.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, I loved it until the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
And then that's when things started to take a turn for me. Stephanie Swan, hello and good evening to you,
How
lady.
are you? We love you.
Glad you could jump in. We've kind of gone down an 80s rabbit hole.
It's true. So true.
His Exorcist tattoo mutated as it healed. Ooh, that wouldn't be creepy at all, Josh. Not at all. Yeah, Katie's seen The Exorcist. Yeah, The Exorcist holds up. That really does. I mean, granted, the special effects could be better, but I think they do a great job with that.
Mm.
Yeah, this house is clean. It's true. Yeah, Robert Englund, he does. Oh, Robert Englund, that's a guy that has always embraced the fans.
Yep.
At conventions and stuff like that. Yeah. Jump scares, paranormal activity pissed me off. We went and saw that movie in the theater, and I'm like, this is 2 hours, and the scariest thing in this whole damn movie is door slamming.
Okay.
And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dress up as the monster from Paranormal Activity. What am I going to be for Halloween? I'm going to be a hollow core door, because that's all that was for 2 hours. Oh, I hated that. If you want a movie that's going to get you with jump scares, if that's your kind of thing, watch Arachnophobia.
Yes.
Because it's not actually the scariest movie in the world. The spiders are not especially gruesome, but they do a great job with that.
Mm. Sorry.
So let's see. Scary movies that scarred me growing up as a kid. Chucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He actually did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, that's true. Because he could hide anywhere.
Trip hates his Linda Blair tattoo. Oh, that's awesome. England signed his tattoo and he got it inked in. That is really cool. Oh, too funny, man. That is great. And Katie didn't like Arachnophobia. See,
I understand that because I don't like spiders.
If you don't like, I get it. You don't like bugs, spiders, whatever.
It's a great movie to scare the crap out of you.
And the way they shot it, they did. They borrowed so many techniques from Well, from Hitchcock. I mean, they relied so much on the camera work for that one, and they didn't go for the gore.
No,
And that was at a
they did not.
time when that movie was released. They were really at the height of, the gory horror movies. So, yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah, Human Centipede, not really something that I was super
No,
into.
no.
Another one that we keep meaning to see that we haven't is Kevin Smith's Tusk,
I know.
which is just weird.
No.
Indiana Jones
Oh,
doesn't
no
like
snakes.
snakes.
No snakes, Rob. No,
Okay,
no, no,
so
no, no.
all right, one last rabbit hole before we go to bed.
Okay.
Amy has what some people might call a phobic reaction to
I
snakes. She
do.
doesn't like them in real life. She doesn't even like for me to watch my sciencey shows on TV
No,
where they're doing wildlife stuff and it's snakes.
no,
Doesn't
no.
like them. I happen to be a member of snake identification groups on Facebook to help people out, trying to identify because I'm a fan of snakes. I kept snakes as a kid. I think they're just amazingly cool animals, and I like them a lot. So a couple of times I have brought snakes home because that's just what you do sometimes. And one time I actually brought home a python that I caught because somebody flagged me down one day at work and like, oh, there's a python. So I grabbed it and I called and I
Fabulous.
said, meet me out at the front
Fabulous.
drive with a pillowcase and no questions. And so she did. And she goes, what do you need a pillowcase for? And I'm in my car and I hold my arm up and I'm holding onto the snake and it's wrapped around my arm. It's squeezing. She's pissed, throws the pillowcase at me and runs and goes back in the house. All right, boom. So I get rid of that. I take it to a friend who has um, exotic animals and is okay with it. So um, another time, same sort of thing happens. We have a gentleman here. He calls the police because there's a snake on his back lanai. I get there because I hear the description on the radio and I'm thinking, well, it's going to be one of two things, and one of them's not really good. So I get there and it turned out to be, it wasn't a brown and black snake. It was a yellow rat snake. And they were just gorgeous, bright yellow colors and four black stripes, about 4 feet long. I ended up catching this thing. Our police department even took photos of me with it and shared it on social media and all this. Well, the guy didn't want it released back in his property. I said, well, I'll take care of it. It's a native snake to Florida. It's not against the law to relocate them. And we have, because of our neighbors' areca palm trees, we have rats in the area. So I brought him over here to do some free uh, pest control for us. And I call Amy. I go, hey, meet me outside. So she comes outside and I'm like, hey, check this out. And she screams, no.
He should know.
I did know. And she runs back in the house, locks me out of the house. Now, mind you, I literally am coming from my work vehicle. I have keys to the house. I don't know why she locked me out.
I'm not going to let him in. I'm going to hold the door. Should.
So I ended up letting the snake go, and it hung out in our neighborhood for a little while. And my neighbor the next day calls me and goes, hey, I saw you online with that snake. I saw the snake over in our yard today. And I said, well, that's because you have those areca palms. He's over there taking care of a pest problem for you. So leave him alone.
I have nightmares about snakes. Okay. Just thank
So,
you right before we go to bed.
I'm trying my best to do some
No.
desensitization therapy. So anyway, yeah. We're trying to keep it clean. I was born in 86. I do like a lot of 80s movies, but I do like not a lot of 90s movies as well. There's some good stuff. And see, Josh, here he comes saving the day right here. He is bringing out one of my favorite quotes from a movie ever. Excuse me while I whip this out. And it's the sheriff from Blazing Saddles. Yes, one of the best movies of all time. So, anyway, guys, we are way over time. We're 20 minutes over. Thank you for hanging out with us this long. Can you believe we went 80 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can believe it?
Yeah. Because we've done it before.
I know. And Amy's over here petting the cat. You guys can't see the cat in the frame.
We have fabulous people.
We do. And you guys help us with the rabbit holes. And thank you tonight, because I know Amy needed it for decompressing after her first day back at work.
First 2 days.
2 days. Yeah, first 2 days.
Oh
And
my God.
just so you guys know, new episode is up in the feed. We released it last night because we needed a little extra time for production. Amy is going to show you our girl Natasha, who's hanging out with us literally on the desk right by the mixing board. But yeah, we are just as thankful as we can be for you guys hanging out with us and letting us kill some time, tune out the world, tune out the news and the negativity. That's what we're here for. And, it's been amazing. But if you get the chance, check out the new episode this week. We are taking you back to a little bit of my childhood, and we're giving you a big serving of nostalgia.
Yes.
That's literally the title of the show.
And we loved it. Every minute of it.
So I hope that you guys will check that out. Download it or subscribe to the show. It'll be the most recent episode in the feed. Otherwise, go to runeatdrink.net, click on listen now. We also shout out our amazing patrons. We got some new ones this week. We also got
Andrea Davison and the Metal Chasers.
Yeah. And we got to meet Josh in person.
Yeah. And we got to celebrate with John his new job.
John Schroeder, one of our first patrons of the show,
Yes.
got a new and amazing job a couple hours away from here. So it stinks that we're losing him locally, but we get to see him do great and wonderful things.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for him for that. So,
and we have so many patrons in the chat tonight. And so many very loyal supporters of the show.
yes, you guys are amazing.
They're awesome.
Oh, it's going to happen, Katie. Katie's like, we got to meet up. Oh, it's going to happen. We're doing that.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, no. Trip, thank you. We're just thrilled that you guys could jump in. You and Sebastian.
Yeah. Stephanie.
Josh and Stephanie. I mean,
Katie,
all of you.
Jojo and Rob and James J. Williams and Mark and
everyone. Y'all are amazing.
Everyone.
So thank you.
Yeah.
And this was a great way for us to kill more than an hour. And anytime y'all want to go down another rabbit hole, let us know. We're there for you. We're here. We're down for that.
Totally.
So
like same time, same channel next week.
Yes. Let's do this again in 7 days.
Yeah.
So anyway, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., barring any crazy weather, I will be out doing week 5, day 2 of the Run Walk Run for the Galloway Easy 5K. So please come along for that if you'd like. And of course, on Saturday morning, we'll be doing the long run for that, and not actually running that one. Ooh,
conspiracy theory.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually down for that conversation.
You kind of mull that over.
I
prep it for next time.
Absolutely. So Steph, we'll count on you for coming back next week to join in on this fun. So put it on your calendar. Guys, thank you so much. We will see you. Well, I'll see a lot of you hopefully tomorrow evening and on Saturday, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.